Hailing back from the days of Medarot R in 1999, this rather cute-looking model is a member of that game's original Zodiac series. It is FYN00 Fey Knit, with a kit of Repair Plant, Restore, Repair, Biped Legs, and the leg ability of Fairy Charge, which buffs the amount of CG gain obtained every turn relative to each plant placed on the field. Now, Fey Knit is a model that people have actually been wondering about for quite some time, as a particularly rare design that not a lot of people have heard about unless you've actively played or know of Medarot R's existence. But as a member of that game Zodiac as mentioned, it is always nice to see yet another OG from the days of old finally come back to the spotlight with a brand new model and some fresh looking art to kind of grace the battlefield once again. Repair Plant on the head part is a setup-based skill that, when activated, will place a plant on the allied side that, for every action an ally completes, will restore just a little bit of HP to all of their parts as long as the plant remains active. So this is going to be a very useful skill that you can make use of if you need something for passive HP management without actually having to use a healing skill on the field. While not actually recommended that you replace this outside of, say, something like Super Repair or All Repair or something similar, Repair Plant is still very nice for the supplemental advantages that it does offer as a passive skill. Restore on the right arm is a healing skill that, when activated, will restore one broken part on a target ally back to 10% HP. Now, that 10% may not sound like much at first glance, but if it's something such as, say, the ally's legs or something similar, usually having it back, even barely active, is far better than usually not having it at all, as more often than not, having something, even if almost broken, will more often than not make or break keeping your strategy together or shoot you in the foot. Repair on the left arm is a simple healing skill that will restore an amount of HP relative to the user's healing mastery on their medal to a target ally. There is a chance that this will also carry over to other parts if it fully restores one back to full HP, but in comparison to, say, Field Repair or Super Repair or something similar, this one probably is not the most potent, I guess I can call it. And this one relies very, very heavily on the user's healing skill of their medal. The higher that skill, the more potent and the more efficacy you'll earn when using this skill specifically. Biped Legs means that Fey Knit will have relatively solid coverage across most terrains and a relatively decent all-rounder type of feel with terrain mastery. But her numbers across the board are kind of squishy. I'd say par for the course as to what you'd expect of an event reward, especially of a female type like her. With a base mobility of 755, she's not certainly going to be the fastest on the field, but she most certainly will have a fairly solid, nice little sweet spot, I guess you can call it, of where you want the base mobility to be before any other modifiers come into play. But she does make up for it with an evade of 1061, which will keep her fairly solid on the dodging and grazing. A melee resist of 1352 and a shoot resist of 801 are kind of on the lower end when it comes to numbers. While she can certainly hold her own at up close and personal, trying to tank damage from up close, taking enemy shots from afar is most certainly going to gun this sheep down a whole lot faster than what you'd really expect. And with her role as the healer, it's going to be kind of hard to kind of balance keeping her alive in favor of other roles on the field. But with her overall terrain compatibility, she's not going to have a lot of real issues there as far as that's concerned. And the ability of Fairy Charge is nice, as it means the longer she's allowed to keep placing plants on the field, and would you look at that, she's got Repair Plant right there in her own kit, it does mean that she can charge Metaforce just a little bit faster. So while she may not be able to heal or restore parts constantly back and forth, she does have the opportunity to possibly rely on Metaforce just a little more reliably thanks to Fairy Charge as an effect. And when it comes to armor, she is relatively light in that armor too, and rather squishy, at a head armor of about 2759, arms about 2459 each, and legs at just shy of 3300. She's not really anything notably to write home about as far as, say, overall damage reduction or being tanky or being super potent is concerned. But if you're looking for a free-to-play healer that you can collect very easily from an event, you really don't have to look too much farther than Fey Knit. All this being said though, as a pure set score, I still have to rate Fey Knit a pretty middle-of-the-road 6.5 out of 10, primarily for the fact that while she isn't anything absurdly broken or fast or potent, what she does, she still does fairly well as a healer as far as the checklist on the roll is concerned. She can restore broken parts, she can restore HP with healing, and she can offer passive healing on the side with repair plans. And thanks to that, because of Fairy Charge, she also gets a little bit of a boost to her charge sustain on top of that. So for what she is able to accomplish, while she will basically be pulling double time with what she has to do, she still does it fairly well when the rubber meets the road. As mixed parts though, I do have to rate her just a little bit higher at a 7 out of 10. While maybe replacing the arms with something such as, say, field repair or rebirth or revive or something similar might boost her overall efficacy as a healer just a little bit, or even mixing it up as a full passive type, such as, say, with repair plans and then a trap or two or something similar to boost with Fairy Charge, you have a lot of different options you can play with. And again, with Fairy Charge, it is kind of obvious there why you'd want to use it in the first place, and Repair Plan is something you'd probably recommend using if you want to make use of passive healing without actually having to designate a dominant healing role in the team.